Hello, I'm Joff.
And I'm Joel, and you're watching Toasted. Sorry, we didn't say Wolf Alice, we probably should do that, shouldn't we?
Once more, please.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
Hey man, how you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Tell me a little about the album, Visions of a Life. Did you have... Well, of course you didn't have a lot of time to write this and to make this music because, of course, you were touring and playing all the time. So how did that come about?
It's been like bits and bobs for the last 2 years, really, of people having demos that they'd made, you know, in a spare couple of hours on tour. We all have like laptops and stuff, and you have Logic and things and acoustic guitars or whatever, and Joff like records with his phone, and then it's basically just like when you get a chance, you're like, everyone can't wait to show each other what they've been making, and then kind of always then go into, we've got our own rehearsal space now, which we'd never had before. So we literally had like 2 weeks and then back into our dingy basement in East London and just picked through everything and saw what was exciting us and what was relevant. And yeah, and then we got Justin, who produced it, involved. Then we did some pre-production, and we went to America, and then we made it. Yeah.
And looking back at it, you can say that again, looking back at the whole period, because you guys did make it. I mean, did you? I don't think you set out to achieve this, but I mean, what do you think of the whole period? What happened?
Well, with the first record,
Yeah.
I found on my phone a while ago my ultimate kind of to-do list in being in a band, and one of them was to play Brixton Academy, one was to play the Pyramid Stage, one was to go on a bus tour of America, and there are a bunch of other ones, I can't remember them.
But you all did them.
Yeah, and you finish the tour and you go, oh God, we really got a lot of work to do now, haven't we? And then you look back and you go, oh shit, we've done quite a lot. We've done pretty much all the stuff that and surpassed the stuff that we kind of wanted to do, of, you know, a lot later down the line. We're kind of going,
I think you succeeded. I was really anxious to listen to the music. When I got the album, I was like, okay, what's it going to be? Is it going to be like incredibly experimental and weird, and I'm not going to get this for months? But actually, I thought it was really, well, dare I say, poppy?
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Cool.
oh, nice. I mean, you know, pop's a broad term, really. I think.
Yeah.
And pop's got a lot of good stuff going for it, I think, you know, and we take a lot of kind of influence from kind of the structure and, you know, what makes something catchy, and we try and put that into kind of our own little world, if you know what I mean, to kind of, you know, the kind of alternative background that we all grew up listening to, really. So I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It is, and from my concern, it is a massive compliment. Hey, of course, the first single, Yak Fu, it only dawned on me that it wasn't a Chinese dish, but it was Fuck You rearranged. We discussed this before the camera started rolling. I think it's a brilliant choice as a first single. The video is also, I think, is really fitting. Of course, it's just a picture with like a stroboscopic effect on it.
Well, it's just a lyric video. There'll be a video. There's a video coming soon.
What will it be like?
I don't
Good,
know.
I hope.
Yeah, the same. And also, that's not a picture. We stupidly thought about doing a picture after we did that. Actually, that is 2.5 minutes of us four staring at a strobe light. Yeah, the other day. And like, if you pay close attention, you will see they will eventually like going a bit like this. It's just the stupidest thing.
I thought that was the case, and I was like, nobody does that.
And then afterwards, Laura, our friend who was doing our pictures afterwards, she's like, "Oh, you could have just taken like 10 seconds and looped it." And we're like, "Oh," felt queasy.
Hey, where did you record the album?
Los Angeles.
Why there?
Yeah, obviously that sounds a bit like, Los Angeles, but it was a logistical thing. We were very lucky enough to work with our friend Justin, and Justin Medell. Oh, I always say his name wrong. You say it. Justin Medell Johnson. I guess I always say it wrong. Mendel Johnson. God, sorry, Justin, if you're watching this. I've only said your name about 1 million times. And he lives there, and Carlos, who was our engineer, he has this amazing studio called Music Friend, literally in the back of his house. It's like a craftsman's house in Los Angeles, in Eagle Rock. And it's just like a no-brainer, you know. It was logistical, but also, I don't know, we got to work with like people on top of their game in some amazing studios. It was an amazing experience, and yeah, it was like half logistics and half like, do you want to go to LA for 3 months? And I personally was like, yes, I do.
Yeah. I can imagine now, if you go into the studio and you go to an amazing place like LA and a fantastic studio, and you do all the recordings and it's done and it's finished, that you get into a void. Like, okay, fuck, it's done, and now?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like it's not real until stuff like today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is, I've showed to like my mum, and like, I think I showed yuck food to someone when I was like drunk in a pub, you know? And that's like, and then it's just not even real then, you know? It's not until like people start being like, so about this lyric and this drum bit, you're like, oh shit, we did actually make something, and the world's gonna hear it soon. And Yuck Fu is sort of like the countdown to, you know, to September 29th, and then it's just like everyone else will have their opinions. And that's why you were saying about the polarizing thing about Yuck Fu.
Yeah.
Like, things, people will bring up stuff that doesn't even like, doesn't really come into your conscious when you're like making things. So it's real like interesting to see people's opinions.
What I found on your Facebook was a call to register and vote, which I think is a cool thing. And then also the pro Corbyn quote. I have come from the States knowing two things. One, we made a great album. Two, private healthcare is the most shameless and terrifying and heartless thing. I don't want to live in a country run by people who think like that.
That was Ellie who wrote that, and
Yeah,
a view we all share.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's true. You go to America and it is scary. People, you know, live in fear that if something happens to them, then they're not going to be looked after. It's you know, a terrifying prospect that there are certain people within our government that kind of share the view that the healthcare shouldn't be a public service.
And now they're still in power. I mean, luckily the whole landslide thing for the Tories didn't happen, but geez.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, some solace to the fact that, you know, they don't have a majority and they're going to have to do a lot more negotiating. I mean, it was in no means a ideal situation that the DUP are now involved. But
can you imagine that even? Jesus, man. I mean, they're like living in the Middle Ages.
It's literally scraping the bottom of the barrel because
Yeah.
you fear that she fears her position, you know. You know, when I even see it in her face, probably thinking like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this is just the worst idea, but I'm so power hungry, I'll do it anyway, you know? Like, where I come from, where I like grew up, was pretty safe, and like, I don't even think I was even, it wasn't until I was in this band and in London and seeing the rest of the country, realise like the extremity of what governments like that, what they do to people's lives, people in different situations. And you realise, like, these things you read on the internet or in the newspapers, they do actually happen and do actually affect people. And people like Theresa May in a bubble just doesn't get that, because she's always been in that bubble and always will be. And so she probably doesn't understand what those people, like, do to other people's lives and what having no NHS would do. You know, like, there's been some really bad shit going on in our city, you know, today even and last couple of weeks. And without, like, those emergency services, who she wants to cut even more of, people just die, you know, and that's the end of it. And it's fucked that she doesn't give a shit.
I'm always surprised how people can vote against their own self-interest, actually.
Yeah,
I know this is the amazing thing, and this is the amazing spin that the Tories have somehow managed to kind of do over the last, you know, well, since Blair was, no, not since Blair was in, since, you know, the last two turns.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, Trump did it, and Macron was very. It was great news that Macron happened in France, but it seems to be a trend all over the world, and it's kind of political campaigns based on, you know, rhetoric. It's the whole post-truth era where people are, you know, becoming very reactionary to kind of things that aren't true.
I hope that Trump fucks up so bad, and he's doing a great job there, that a lot of people actually start thinking, well, we don't want that here. And maybe they'll become more liberal, or I don't know if you say liberal, more sensible.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it baffles me, the idea that, you know, the swing of people that voted for Obama in one term and then swung to Trump. I mean, it's completely, you know, you couldn't have a bigger fork in the road. It's just two wildly different ideologies. And I mean,
so people miss out, like, they think he's like a self-made man, so they're voting for somebody who they see themselves as. That's how I met quite a few people in Los Angeles, and someone in particular as well was telling me about her parents, one who's from Germany, one who's from Mexico, and they both voted Trump because they came here, worked hard, found their own security, and if they've done that, why shouldn't everybody else? So like, and you think like, what? Like, that's not the same thing. And I actually find that back from where I'm from back home, which is a county called Surrey, which is like a wildly affluent and like totally blue conservative area. Was this time, always will be. There's kids that I was speaking to a few days before, like just in the pub, And they're like, well, obviously we're going to vote Conservative. I'm like, why? They're like, because we have to work hard. Like, why would I like do anything to benefit someone else? And that's kind of what it comes down to with a few people. It's like it guts people that they work so hard, they don't want it to go anywhere else but to them. And you can see that. You can see that ideology because people do work hard in toughs of time. Toughs of time. That's because I'm trying to be like smart for once. I'm getting my words mixed up. But you can see why people feel the pressure to do it, but I just can't relate to it, you know.
Hey, back to the music. Sky Musings, I think that's an outstanding story.
Yeah.
I heard that. Let's go back to Sky Musings. I think it's an outstanding song on the album. I love the whispering poetry.
That was something Ellie showed us, and I think it's from an actual journey, and she obviously wrote it on the plane, I think. I've just said obviously, I don't know. That was one where I was like, lyrically, I guess it's when she first showed it to me personally, when we were on tour and stuff, I was like, yeah, I feel you on this one. And then it was just about sort of finding the sounds with Justin and Joff doing the guitar work, and there was things we took from the original demo and the original sounds, and then, you know, like using different ways, made them more like current and more to where we are now, but tried to keep it intimate, and like the drums and stuff, we like did them all in this studio in Hollywood, and then ended up going like back to the smaller studio and like cutting them up and processing them, and like all the big hand claps and things. That's probably like one of the most like production-y songs. It wasn't like we just sat in a room and played it. We had to like, that was very much like around almost the computer, around the desk, you know, like.
So how will you produce this live?
Just got 4 million guitar pedals now, so
it's all samples.
Yeah,
it's a one-man band.
We're really thinking about it this time, aren't we? We don't use backing track. We would like to say that right now, like other bands do, and we don't want to. So that's the new game, isn't it?
So live is going to be a different ball game, and the music is going to sound different live.
To a certain extent, I mean, you know, we're going to try and keep all the things that we've enjoyed and we enjoy doing in the live set. We want to, you know, keep the kind of dynamicness, and we want to kind of keep, you know, it fun and upbeat. There are a couple of challenges to overcome, but to be honest, from a technical point of view, nothing really vastly different from the first one. We're just going to kind of build upon what we know, and you know, just try and advance it and make it better, really.
Another song that I like, I think it is my personal favorite, is Saint Purple and Green. I wrote down, could have been on Dark Side of the Moon, like, because of the production, and there's like so much going on. I love the crashing sound when the guitars start after the intro. I think it's so well thought of and taken care of. I think it's a really special song. Could you elaborate a little about it?
Yeah, it's really nice. You know, you're one of the first people outside of the four people in the band that have gone that they, you know, really like that one. Yeah. And we've always really loved that one. Yeah. I think it's a real, I don't know, it's a real challenge on a lot of different kind of levels. That song, kind of, you know, emotionally and definitely technically. Yeah. And there's just so much going on. Yeah.
It was one of the ones when we had like the demo of it. I think a lot of people were like, what? Yeah, because it obviously didn't sound like it does now. It did the core of it was there, but we obviously couldn't like make the version we were wanting to go on and make, you know, as a demo. So you're trying to like persuade people like, no, it could be really good. And playing it live, when we were in the room adjusting stuff, it kind of like...
So you had these ideas before you went into the studio. You knew what it was going to sound like? Because I have the idea, like, you just fiddle about in the studio, you find nice effects, go like, well, this works.
Well, no, there's probably an element of that, like spontaneity and stuff. But Justin flew over to London, like, just before Christmas time, and we had a week. It was the first time we met him, actually. We'd spoken to him online, but, went through everything, and... Pre-production is kind of something that I'm always just like, oh, no. Because it usually involves like, how about you play 2 snare hits here and 1 kick drum there? And it's just like, do you think I haven't already fucking tried this? But no, with Justin it was like actually like discovering the ideas we'd written or like we were writing, and Purple and Green suddenly got like a new lease of life. And I vividly remember Theo's bass line changing into what it is now, and me being like, oh, okay. And the ending... I know the lyrics are so beautiful. What Ellie's written, and they're just her vocal text really haunting. And then I was bringing this up the other day. It's probably the first time we've done like quite a powerful thing without just doing loud. You know, it's more like about the choice of notes and the arrangement.
I fully agree. I think it's haunting and extremely powerful. Visions of Life, of course, also a great track. Why did you call the album Visions of Life? Because it's also a track, but
Yeah, it's not so much the title track, Visions of a Life. We kind of saw it. We were talking about this earlier about a lot of the writing of the album was done during the touring cycle of the My Love Is Cool record. And we kind of, when we finished that, we came back and revisited all those different songs and ideas that we'd had throughout that time, and it was almost kind of like, going back to diary entries and kind of being able to look at things with perspective and putting them all together and kind of going, it's kind of like, in respect to the album, it's kind of, almost like a fragmented version of a couple of years, fragmented dramatized version of a couple of years.
Yeah.
Put into one, it's not a thematic record, it's not, a start to finish concept or something like that. So it was kind of like the idea behind the name Visions of a Life was kind of an outward look back in on this 2 years and all these kind of different visions of
Things that
the
happened.
life that had happened, really.
Yeah.
Hey, there was, of course, artwork. Well, not leaked, but you put the artwork in phase on your Facebook pages. Is that the artwork per song? Because that's where all the songs were named as well.
Oh, the
Pictures,
postcards.
yeah, the postcards.
That was,
Is that part of the artwork, or is that just like to tease your fans?
they were just. There was like the idea was to give something to the fans beforehand, And I think it was Eddie that came up with the idea of the postcards. You'd seen quite a few cool postcards, and we were like, well, why don't we just send out things to people that are on the mailing list or whatever? And
So you actually send those?
yeah.
Fucking hell, that's cool.
Everyone got them. So it was one of those like really nice ideas we had that I was just like, it's never actually going to happen, but it happened. And Ellie's dad like helped loads with the designs, and they're photos that Ellie's taken, or like I think one of them's one of her friends, and they don't know, they sort of like represent each song, but they're not going to be like the album artwork. They're just images, and it was just so nice, like waking up one day and checking on the Twitter, and it was like people that like Wolf Alice were waking up with something that is theirs, and it wasn't like go online and Wolf Alice announced a new album, blah blah blah. It's like, no, the fans knew first that something was coming, and that's just, they're very very special people to us,
What is the artwork going to be like then?
It's not unveiled yet. I'm not sure if it'll be unveiled when this comes out, but it's a
Who did it?
it's a really cool image of Ellie's auntie Helen, and it's a picture. Well, half of it's up now, with the Yuck Fu, with the skull, but Helen's photoshopped out of that one, and eventually she will be in there, and she's like in a really cool dancing pose, and it's an actual image from way back when, and it's just one of those. It's the same thing happened with My Love Is Cool, where someone just finally shows you an image, and you go, oh yeah, that's what would look great with those songs. And Ellie showed us that, and we were all just like looking at the phone like, yep, that's the one. And so Ellie's dad, Rob, he also helps so much with the like the visual elements of what we've done so far. And again, he's sort of just got it looking kind of fantasy, and I'm really happy with it.
What holds in your future for you guys? Just a small tour in the States, and then?
We're playing over there in November.
There we go. We're playing over there in November. So if you fancy coming over there in November, come along.
there.
Yeah.
Be there.
Milkweg.
Melkweg.
Melkweg.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Melkweg.
Melkweg. So we're playing there.
Milky Way, yeah.
Oh really?
There used to be a milk factory.
Yeah,
actually.
we heard.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
So we're playing over there. We're doing a small European run in November. We go on tour in the UK in November. America in July.
So I mean, America is picking up. I mean, probably, right? I mean, you guys are doing really well in America.
Oh, we spent a lot of time there during the first.
Yeah, I mean, you can go there, but if nobody wants to listen to you, it's pointless, right?
No, completely. And we're kind of it takes a hell of a lot over there because the place is massive, and we're committed to kind of seeing it through, really. So we're just gonna. We're going to go down there for as much time as possible and force it down people's throats until they all are converts to Wolf Alice. That's the plan.
Buy a t-shirt.
I think actually I understand why you have a big following in the States. I think it's a good match, Wolf Alice in the United States.
Yeah, I just want to go on tour with Incubus and I'll be fine.
Don't say that too loud. Shit will happen.
Yeah, we're so lucky. We actually it went on pre-sale yesterday. When I don't know, this is in the future. This video. But yeah, the reaction's been amazing to those shows, and they're smaller shows than what we've been doing previously. But when things sell out like on the day, it's been like what, And we're playing a venue in Los Angeles, which is literally round the corner from where we were living for a few months. So it's like the last show is a bit of a Visions of a Life homecoming, I think. So it's going to be really special.
Nice. Where will it be?
It's going to be at the Echo in Los Angeles.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's sold out, so...
Fuck.
It's probably happened by the time this video's come out.
I'm going to see you guys over there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A bit closer.
Thanks so much for your time.